Good morning, it's Michelle. Welcome to class. Today's class is a flow, more about hopefully changing your perspective if you're coming onto the mat feeling a little stress or anxiety. These transitions will hopefully help you change that perspective and leave your mat feeling less frustrated, more happy, more open and loving. So if you're ready, let's come into a child's pose at the back of your mat. Bring your toes to touch, open up your knees, any comfortable distance. Start this practice from the beginning, the middle, and the end, honoring yourself, your body, and where you're at emotionally, energetically, physically. And just allow yourself to ground. Allow yourself to observe how you're feeling. Noticing your inhales and exhales effortlessly flowing in and out of the body. Allowing you to arrive. Allowing you to take this break from your daily activities and life itself. I really do notice more and more that when I do get on my mat, I do little by little start to shift and things start to look better. I start to see the brighter side of things. So I hope it does that for you as well. Start to activate your Ujjayi breathing, allowing you to feel a little bit more of what's going on in the physical body. Inhaling and exhaling in and out of the nose, pulling your breath through the back of your throat as you inhale very deeply and exhale very slowly. Inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1 with a pause. Maybe another sip at the top. And exhale down for 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way to empty on that pause. And then on your next inhale, lift up your torso and slowly transition your arms to the right. And then your choice to make this pose more active or passive. Using your right hand to push for active and then resting the elbow for passive. Each time I roll out my mat, I do choose something different. Today, I'm choosing more passive. Trying to remain very steady and calm. As thoughts arise, I try not to focus my attention too much on them, but yet just observe them without getting emotionally attached to it. I simply let it pass by taking another deep breath in and allowing those thoughts to fade into the background. On your next inhale, lift up the torso and walk it over to the other side. Just 2 more breaths here. Notice your jaw and your face, and can you relax there? The tongue tends to be very busy in the mouth. So can you just allow the tongue to relax away from the roof of your mouth? Even though we're breathing in and out of the nose, can you separate your lips a little rather than pressing them together using up energy. Bring it back to center and then set an intention that keeps your focus on your breath, in your body, and in your practice, in those transitions. Lifting up to all fours, lining up the creases of the wrist, elbows, and shoulders. Stack your hips over your knees, pick up your feet, roll around the ankles, and then place the tops of your feet down. Gaze at your fingers, spread your fingers nice and wide, dialing your triceps back and broadening the collarbone, shoulders pull back. Start to flow through your cat-cows. Inhale, arching the back, lifting the gaze, gently pulling shoulders back and hips up. Exhale, rounding the spine, hollowing out the front body while you strengthen your arms by pushing away from the earth. Inhale, let the belly go. Lift the gaze and tail. Breathing in as much as you can, and feel free to move a little quicker or slower. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale, let the belly go. Just really taking our time to warm up the spine and the joints and the wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale, this time tuck your toes. And exhale, push away. From here, start your circles around your mat. Inhale as you move the hips to the right and back. And exhale as you circle your hips around to the left and forward. Making the circle smaller or bigger depending on how you feel so far as we transition into our practice, into our bodies, and giving the minds a rest. Reverse your circle, inhaling to the left and exhaling to the right. And then we'll bring it back to neutral to dial the fingertips back towards the knees. If you notice your shoulders up by your ears, just softly draw the shoulders back. Lift your lower belly and wrap your ribs in. In yoga, we call that Uddiyana Bandha, the tightening of the front body. At the beginning of your inhale, Mula Bandha, the space between your sit bones. Make circles, rock side to side, whatever feels appropriate. We're going to tuck the toes if they're not already and sit back on top of your heels to give that same attention to your feet. Give your hands a little shake. Shake your hands all the way up like you're shaking off water. And then shake your hands right back down. One more time, all the way up. Hold it here, stretch with your fingers, open and close your hands for 10, 9, go as fast as you can, 8, 7, 6. Warming up our wrists and our forearms for our downward facing dogs. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, look up between the space in your hands. Engage your Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And as you exhale, cactus your elbows. On the inhale, let the hands sweep by your side, coming back up to all fours, picking up your feet, giving them a little tap, or roll around the ankles, or just simply place your feet down and observe with your breathing. Sending your breath into those areas. Flip your right palm up. Give your fingers a little wiggle. And then we'll inhale, sweep the right arm forward and the left leg back. And then exhale, round and curl, navel to spine. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, pause. Take your right hand back, reach for your left foot or your ankle, kick into the hand, start to drift your gaze skyward for 3 breaths. You have 2 more. Keep pushing down equally with your left hand and your right shin. 1 more breath. And then inhale, stretch and reach your balancing table. Exhale, lower your right hand down, spin your right foot off the mat. Lift your left arm, modified side plank. Bend your left knee, grab a hold of the left foot, and instead of kicking into the hand, pull your heel towards your hips, stretching the front of the thigh. Draw your hips forward, your tailbone towards the back of your left knee. And then inhale, lower your left foot down, stretch with your left hand, bicep by your ear. Push down and away with your left foot and reach with your left pinky finger. Make sure your hips are pushing forward and you're not sticking your butt back. Inhale, the left arm circles around 3 times. Inhale and exhale. And the next time your hand circles around to the mat, bring it back to all 4s. We'll take 3 circles around to the right. And then 3 circles to the left. And bringing it back to neutral, make adjustments whenever you need. Flip your left palm up. Give your fingers a little wiggle. Lift your belly, wrap the ribs, lengthen the spine. Kick your right foot back, stretch your left arm forward. Inhale, exhale, round and curl. Inhale, stretch and reach. And exhale, round and curl. Inhale, try not to arch in the low back. Exhale like a stomach crunch. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale, your left hand reaches back for the foot or ankle. Kick into the hand. Lift your gaze skyward for 3, 2. Keep pushing away with your right hand and your left shin. Last one. Meet back in balancing table. Inhale. Lower your left hand, left foot as you exhale. Inhale, modified side plank. Exhale, bend the right knee, grab your foot or ankle and squeeze the heel to your butt. Keep your right knee and thigh on the same line here. Draw your belly in. And draw your ribs in. Inhale, release, lower right foot down. Stretch with your right pinky finger in the opposite direction as your right foot. Pull your belly in, draw your tailbone towards that right heel. There's always room to advance your pose or modify even more. So you choose within each one where you want to flow. Inhale, circle the right arm around 3 times. Gaze into the right palm. That'll help keep any tension out of your neck. And then the next time the hand crosses the mat, place it down. Bring your right knee in. 3 circles. Start at the left this time. And reverse it. Bring it back to neutral. Set yourself up for plank pose. Shoulders over the wrist or a little more over your fingers. Your sit bones move towards your heels. Your heels stack above your toes. Navel to spine, ribs draw in and up. Your shoulders aren't protracted or retracted. They're somewhere right in the middle. Firm your thighs. Take one more breath. Wrap your triceps back, your shoulders back, and start to shift the weight forward, lowering all the way down to your belly. Tops of the feet come down. Toes touch, heels together or heels apart. Baby cobra pose. Inhale. Press your feet and hips down. Peel your chest away from the mat. Squeeze your elbows in. Draw your shoulders down. One more breath. Stretch your arms back. Separate your feet. Move your hips and bring your right ear to the mat. Give your hips a little wiggle. Take a full breath in. Open up your mouth and say, let the body go. Surrender whenever you get that opportunity. Observe. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Go back to a baby cobra or come up to lifted cobra, sliding the hands down a little more, opening up the feet a little more, and coming up halfway with bent elbows. Squeeze the elbows in, shoulders down, gaze lifts. At the end of your next exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way down, bringing your left ear to the mat, stretching your arms back, giving your hips a wiggle. Maybe this time bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs right and left. Or my grandma's windshield wipers out and in. And then we'll bring it back, setting yourself up for baby cobra, lifted cobra, or the full expression, upward facing dog. Tops of the feet press, hips press, chest lifts. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look over your right shoulder. Stay there, exhale. Inhale, look over your left shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, bring your gaze forward and up. And exhale, start to lift up your hips, tuck your toes, prepare yourself for your first down dog. Make sure your hands are shoulder width, fingers spread nice and wide. Start to lift your knees and hips and float it back. Keep your knees soft if your hamstrings feel a little tight. Pedal out your heels, exploring some movement in your dog. You can lift both at the same time. You can pedal it out. You can bend and straighten your legs. You can bend the elbows out wide. getting into the elbows, the shoulders. Awesome. Lift your heels nice and high. And on an exhale, bring your heels to the right. Let your right hip get really heavy. Stay there or tent your left fingertips, creating more of a stretch on the left side body. One more breath here. Inhale, the heels lift, and then to the other side. Tent your right fingertips, so let your left hip get super heavy. Breathing into the right lung here. Inhale, bringing it back up. Just take a gander at your hands and make sure they're still shoulder distance apart. And then on your next inhale, lift your right leg back and up. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Your right knee is the highest point on your body. Lift up your gaze and look over your left shoulder. See if you can see your right toes. Inhale, lift the right leg, squaring the hips off. Exhale, bring the right knee to your nose, round and curl, puff up your back. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Hover here or fly for 5, or slide 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, right leg back and up. And then exhale, right knee, left elbow, fly, hold, or slide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, right leg back up. And exhale, this time right foot all the way up between your hands. Deep breath in, lowering the left knee, untucking the toes, and rising to your Anjaneyasana, your low crescent lunge. Interlace the first 3 fingers. Extend your index fingers and thumbs. Let the gaze drift skyward. Keep the neck nice and long. Squeeze your inner thighs by grounding into your right big toe and your left knee and pulling the 2 towards the center. Inhale. And exhale, gentle side bend to the right. So push down a little more with your left knee and shin. Reach a little more with your hands. And inhale, come back up. And exhale to the left. Pushing down a little more with your right foot. Reaching, getting more side bend, more space on the right side. Inhale, come up. And exhale, take your hands to your thigh. Push your hips a little more forward and down and reach back with your left hand to grab your left foot or ankle. Steady your gaze here. This does challenge your balance. If you want more, lift your right arm up. Pull your belly back and your ribs in and down. Take one more breath here. And on an exhale, you'll frame your right foot, send your hips back, and straighten out your right leg. Press down with your right heel. Lift up your toes. Lift your knee, firm your thigh. Squeeze the inner thighs by hugging your left knee in towards the midline. If you have a full split, feel free to take it. One more breath here, and then we're going to move into pyramid pose. So you'll bend your right knee, tuck your back toes, and place your left foot where your left knee is. So you have about a half a leg's distance in between the feet. Inhale, lift up to your fingertips, lengthen the spine. And on an exhale, squeeze the inner thighs and fold over your right leg. Pushing down with your right foot, hug right hip back. Push down and back with your left foot, spiraling your left thigh forward. On an inhale, come back up to your fingertips. Take your left hand to the inside or outside of your right foot or ankle, your right hand to your hip, or your right hand to the sky. If you have a block, it might be useful here to create longer limbs underneath that left hand. Challenging your balance by gazing up. Slowly lower your right hand to the inside of the right foot, countering the pose. Keeping the hips still closed, left hand to hip or left hand to the sky. Slowly lowering the left hand to frame your right foot. Soften the right knee, step left foot back. On an inhale, sweep your right leg back and up. Walk your hands back to meet your left foot. Standing split or opportunity to hop up into handstands for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take the right foot, hover it next to your left, and then kick it straight through a little pistol squat. Lift up your hips for a brief pause. Send your hands forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your hips down. Take your left foot, cross it over the right leg, and your right elbow to hug and left hand behind you. If you want a little more, inhale the right arm up. And exhale, find your twist. Lengthen your spine from the sit bones up to the top of your head. And as you exhale, ground the sit bones even more. Try to maintain that length. Inhale, bring your gaze back forward. Take your left foot in. From here, half moon pose. So we'll use the left foot in our hands to lift us up, lowering the left knee as we bend the right knee. Fingertips 12 inches out in front of your right big toe, and then left leg lifts. Left toes face the left. Left hand on the hip or up to the sky. Try not to dump all the weight in your right hand. And do your best to open up the left hip and tuck your right butt under. Soften your right knee and step your left foot back, warrior 2 pose. Stretch your arms all the way out, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Lining your right heel up with your back arch. All 5 toes in the front face forward, and your right knee aims over that right second toe. Flip your right palm, reach with your right hand forward, and then exhale, pull it up and back to peaceful warrior. Option to walk the hand down your left leg or take your left hand behind you for a bind. Our left hand crosses in front of the body, moving energy to the right with the left hand and left with your right. Straighten the right leg, exalted triangle. Open up the arms, triangle pose. Hips move to the back, right hand lowers inside or outside of the right foot or ankle, and left bicep by your ear. Try to open up the left hip and tuck your right butt under. Bend into the right knee. Start to pivot your torso back around to the front. Walking your left fingertips 12 inches in front of your right big toe. Sweep your right arm up for revolving half moon. Hips are squared. Left toes, knee and thigh are facing down. Right big toe and inner arch grounded. Lower your right hand. Soften the right knee. Step your left foot next to your right. Lift all 10 toes. Lift the gaze up as you bend your knees. Find chair. Inhale here. Sit bones move towards your heels. Navel and ribs to the spine. On your next inhale, rise up to standing. And then exhale, find a little back bend in the upper back. Tailbone towards your heels. Quads zip up. Belly lifts. On your next inhale, gaze forward and float your hands down by your side. Close your eyes here. Peel away your toes from the mat, and one at a time, place your toes down, creating space between each one. Feeling every toe grounded, feeling the energy sway your body side to side. Just observe and breathe. On the inhale, feel the spine lengthen, and on the exhale, try to keep the length. Tighten up the front body. On your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. And on an exhale, dive forward into a forward fold, chin to chest. Inhale, soften the knees, lengthen your spine halfway. Open up your mouth and say, as you fold and bow into yourself, honoring how you're feeling today. 2 more. Inhale. Send the weight back into your heels, navel to spine, heart forward and up. Exhale and fold. Chin to chest, shift the weight into the toes. Inhale, last one. Exhale. Soften your knees. Place your hands down. Step, jump, or float it back. High to low push-up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. getting longer through the side body. Gripping the mat with all 10 fingertips. Sending the weight back into your heels. On your next inhale, float your left leg back and up. Bend the knee. Open up the hip. Gaze up and over your right shoulder. See if you can see your left foot. Inhale, the left leg lifts, squaring off the hips. And exhale to round and curl, puffing up the back, hollowing out the front body. Inhale, left leg strokes the sky. And exhale, the left knee to the left elbow for a count of 5. Whether you slid the knee down towards the wrist and up, or you took flight. Inhale, left leg back and up. And exhale, left knee to the right elbow for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, left leg back and up. And exhale, the left foot up between your hands. Inhale as you pull the energy forward and down with the right knee and the top of the foot. Sweep your arms up and back. Check in with your alignment. Your feet are still hip bone distance apart. Your left knee is stacked over the ankle, not the toes. Ground down with the left foot and right knee. Squeeze and hug your inner thighs with that energy, pulling inward. On your next inhale, reach up and out of the hips and a gentle side bend to the left. Pushing down a little more to find more space. So we root to rise. Inhale, root, lengthen, and exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, take your hands to your left thigh. Reach back with your right hand as you lean forward. Grab a hold of your right foot or ankle. Steady your gaze here as you reach your left arm forward and up. This pose can be challenging with the balance. So it's important when we do get into balancing poses, you steady your gaze. Inhale, reach the arms up, lowering your hands to frame your left foot. Lift up your hips and find a half split pose. Pull the left hip up and back. Pull your right hip forward and down. Left toes are flexed and left heel is actively pressing down to feel more sensation in the back of that left leg. One more deep breath in before we come into our pyramid pose. So our right foot is going to step right where the right knee is. Still hip bone distance apart. All 10 toes facing forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, tuck chin to chest, navel to spine. squeezing the inner thighs. If you soften one knee, soften both. Don't look for perfection here. Look for the sensation. Look for the calmness in your breath. Just ground and be centered. On your next inhale, lift back up to your fingertips, taking your right hand to the inside or outside of the left foot and your left hand on your hip or to the sky. If you notice you're sinking down in the joints, lift your low belly as you inhale. Feel your kneecaps lift and your thighs zip up. On your next inhale, lower your left hand to the inside of your left foot and take your right hand to your hip to counter the pose. Reaching your right arm up for a little more. And then slowly with your breath, transition, framing your left foot, softening the left knee, and your right foot moves back to a lunge. And then engaging your pelvic floor, sweep your left leg back and up. Start to walk your hands back to meet your right foot, grabbing the ankle or hopping up into your handstand pose for 5, 4, 3. Keep shaving the outer right hip back. You should feel this in your butt, not your hip. If you feel it in your hip, you're pressing too much in the outer edge. Ground more inward. On your next inhale, we're going to bend the left knee to hover left foot in front of the right, and then kick the left foot out for a pistol squat. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your seat all the way down. Take your right foot behind your left. Your left elbow hugs the right knee, your right hand behind you, or inhale, lift the left arm up, and then find a deeper twist. And try to smooth out your breath every chance you get. Keep connecting to your breath. Remembering we're changing our perspective here from negative thinking to positive thinking. Seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And bringing it back around to center. Taking your right foot in, preparing for your half moon. So we'll use our hands. Feet don't change yet. We start to lift. The right knee comes down. Feet are still in the same place. You'll reach forward with your left hand and float your right leg up. Doing your best to stack your right hip. So open up that right hip on top of your left and tuck your left butt under. Don't look for perfection here. If that right leg keeps dropping, keep lifting it up. It's a practice, not a perfection. Start to soften your left knee and step your right foot back. Warrior 2 pose. Separate your feet as much as you like, trying to get your left thigh parallel to the mat. Stretch your arms out. Gaze down at the inside of the left knee. Make sure you can see your left big toe or some of the skin of the left foot. If not, just move your left knee over that second toe. Gaze over your left middle digit. Feel the earth beneath your feet and squeeze the feet towards each other. Flip your left palm, reach with your left hand forward, and exhale, exalt into peaceful warrior. Rising up and out of that left hip, grounding into your feet. Imagine squeezing your feet towards the midline. Start to straighten out your left leg, exalted triangle. Opening up the arms for triangle pose. Move the hips back. Reach with the left hand forward. Left hand inside or outside that left foot, ankle, or block. Open up the right hip. Tuck your left butt under. Zip the quads. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend into the left knee. Start to spin the torso back around forward. Pivot your right toes forward. Inhale. Exhale, your right foot meets your left. Inhale, bend the knees. Lift all 10 toes. Rise up through chair. Squeeze the knees. Hug your hips. Navel to spine. Trying to stack your knees above your ankles, so move your hips back. Make sure your toes are in front of the knees, not vice versa. Inhale, toes down. You rise for that back bend. And inhale, bring the gaze back up, floating your hands by your side. Close your eyes. And just notice how you feel. Most importantly, find that inner smile. Separate your feet a little wider than your hips, maybe the width of your shoulders. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. Bring your hands together, turn your heels slightly out, and start to lower your seat between your heels. Bringing your elbows to the inside of the knees and the hands to the heart. If you need to sit on a block because your heels are lifted, sit on a block, but do your best to keep your heels grounded. Lower the right elbow to the inside of the right knee. Stretch with your right fingertips to the right and your left arm to the left. Stay there. Find a half or full bind. Inhale, open up, and exhale back to the heart. And then to the other side, left shoulder inside left knee. Right arm reaches to the right. And if you went for a half or full bind, unwinding, inhale. Exhale, meet hands back at the heart. Taking your hands down in between your feet. Turn your heels back so the pinky toe side of the feet line up with the edges of your mat. Take your right hand to the inside of the right foot and sweep your left arm up. Stay there or start to move into your bird of paradise. Left hand palm up on the back, right hand through the two legs to find the left for a bind. Try to straighten out your legs here. Inhale. Stay there. Bring your gaze between your feet. Heel toe your left foot in. Lift your right heel, shift your gaze forward, and on an inhale, tap that right toe once or twice and rise all the way up to standing. Stay here or extend your right foot out. Slowly exiting out of this pose the way we got there. Releasing the hand to the inside. Grab a hold of opposite elbows. Shake your head knowing yes. Shake your shoulders side to side, forward and back. Deep breath in, exhale, say ah. Left hand down, right hand to the sky. And then start to move into this pose the way you did on the other side. Half bind or full bind. Gaze forward, heel toe your right foot in once or twice. Lift the left heel, push through the right foot. Give your left foot a few taps. Momentum always helps here. And inhale, lift up. Stay there or extend your left toes out and up. Both legs straight and strong if you can. And then slowly backing out the way you got there. Hands come back down. Opposite elbows, sway side to side. Shake it, yes and no. And then keep your feet nice and wide. Inhale, look out and up. Soften your knees and step your left foot back for a lizard lunge. Left knee up or down, it's up to you. Both hands down or right hand to the right knee. Stay there, pivot your toes to the right, or you can lean onto the the blade of your right foot. If your left knee is up, lower it. Move your left foot over to the right. Take your hands over to the left and find your way into frog pose. Knees line up with your hips and the ankles line up with your knees. Lowering to your elbows or your chest for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pick up your feet, tuck your toes, lift the knees, step, jump, or float back onto the mat, bending the knees left and right a few times, and then lingering in your wide leg fold, or find an inversion like a headstand, a forearm stand, or a handstand for 5. 4. Feeling the spine lift and lengthen with your inhales. Feeling the front body tighten up on the exhale. If If your legs are up in the air, start to lower back down. Bringing the hands back underneath your shoulders and bending the knees right and left a few times. We're going to heel toe the feet in once or twice. Pivot around to the right. Pivot all the way to the right and bringing your right knee on top of your left, your Gomukhasana legs. Stacking your right knee on top of your left. Staying here for the nice stretch, or reaching your arms all the way up, taking your right hand down behind you, left hand on the right elbow to stretch the right tricep, or take your left hand all the way back behind you up towards the right hand. If you have a strap or towel, you might need it here. Draw the belly and ribs in and maybe round yourself forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Sit up nice and tall. Open up the mouth and release your right hand over to the right. Lift your left arm up to the sky and stretch to the right side bend. Use your right hand to push your hips to the left. Use your left hand to create space out of the left hip. A gentle turn with your torso towards that right leg as you fold over the right thigh the best you can. Bringing it around to center, breath here. Slowly lifting yourself up, bringing your weight back into your feet, lifting back up to a right side lunge. Left foot meets your right, and then we're going to separate the feet here. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Wiggle your hands between your feet. Wiggle your elbows between your legs. Stay here, or take your hands behind the heels, making an L shape around the feet. Hands plant. Wiggle the feet in a little more if you need to. Squeeze the legs or the arms with your legs and slowly drop your bum down. Bring your gaze forward. Stay here. Walk your feet forward. Maybe even cross your ankles. Maybe even extend your legs out. And then we'll slowly lower back down the way we got there. This time, as we lift up the hips, we'll send the right foot back to our lizard lunge. If you lowered the knee, lower it here. If you kept it lifting, left hand on the left thigh. If you pivoted your toes, or maybe just the left foot. I'm just trying to create balance. And then we'll lower the right knee down, spin the right foot to the right, and come into our frog pose. on the other side. Bringing the knees nice and wide, elbows down, maybe chest down. Flexing your feet, your toes facing the front and back of your mat. Inhale, really important to lift your low belly to protect your spine here, especially if you have a very flexible spine. We tend to crash in the low back when that happens. If you're very rounded, you can come back up to your hands to find some length. I'm definitely starting to feel like myself. When I start my practice, sometimes my perspective is much different than it is at this moment. That's why I'm so grateful for yoga and all the yogis before me. On your next inhale, take your hands down, tuck your toes, lift the knees, step, jump, or float back to the mat. And then if you walked your hands forward, maybe this time walk it back. If you want to go up into another inversion, do that here for 5. 4. Make sure the outer edges of your feet are pushing. If the feet are down and the arches are lifting. If you're gazing through your legs, lift your sit bones. Pull your belly back. If your legs are up, start to lower them. We'll bring the hands back to underneath the shoulders, soften the knees, but heel toe your feet in once or twice. Pivot to the left, all 10 toes with you. Keep pivoting to the left and lowering your knees down for your Gomukhasana pose. Left knee stacks on top, feet line up with the hips the best you can. Sweep your arms up here. The left hand comes down the back. The right hand gently pushes the left elbow to stretch the tricep. Stay there. Take the right hand out and back behind you, working its way up towards that left hand. Pull your belly in and your ribs in, and maybe round forward for 5. 4. 3. 2. 1 more. Come up nice and tall here. And your next inhale, reach up with your left hand, lower it to the left. Reach with your right hand up and over to the left, using your left hand to push your hips to the right, and your right hand to stretch and create space out of the right hip. Slowly pivot around to the left, folding over that left thigh. Taking the right hand to the right, fold here. Slowly bringing yourself up, pressing back in with the feet, pivoting around to the left, right foot meets your left. Lower your seat down to your heels, giving your toes a little stretch here. Start to lower your heels and then your butt, lifting up your legs here for boat pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float your hands up, your feet hover above the earth for 5, 4. Try to lift your torso even more. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, exhale, finding a forward fold. Reaching for whatever you can grab. Pull your shoulders back and down, the crown of the head towards your toes the best you can. Send your hips back and your heart forward. And your next inhale, slowly rise all the way up and let your exhale bring you all the way down to your Shavasana. Take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth and say, ah. Inhale, stretch your arms over your head. Bring your legs together as you exhale. Press the back body down. Flex your feet. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your knees in. Lift your head up. Squeeze yourself into a tight little ball. Lower your head back down and rock it side to side a time or two. If I don't give you enough of a cool down, I do have a cool down video in my channel, in my description. So feel free to always refer back to that. From here, place your feet down, preparing for bridge pose. So feet hip bone distance apart, hands alongside your body, palms down. Inhale, belly in, back down, tail curls. Exhale, press down and in with your feet as you peel your spine off the mat, one vertebra at a time. Notice if you're squeezing your glutes here. Ground more into the feet. Lift your chin off your chest. Inhale, press down, lift up. Exhale, try to maintain that height. Option to interlace your fingers behind you, rocking side to side, tucking the arm bones under the body. Go back to checking in. Every time you make a change, check in with your breath and your foundation. Another option would be to reach your arms up and over your head, palms face up. Check in again, chin away from the chest, glutes not squeezing as much as you're focused on the inner thighs. And then your final option would be a full wheel, bringing the fingertips behind you, facing your feet, and lifting up on an inhale. And maybe rocking forward and back a few times. Shake your head yes and no. Two more breaths here. And your next inhale, start to transition your way all the way down and up to a dead bug pose. Rolling around your wrists and ankles, or just let everything be for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Happy baby pose. Hands to the inner arches of your feet. Slowly let the knees come close to the side body, not forcing your knees down, but yet trying to keep your tailbone anchored. Don't just pull your feet down, push into your hands with your feet. If you want more, kick into your hands and start to straighten out your legs a little bit more. When you're ready, we're going to lift the legs back up and cross the right knee over your left. Relax your hands on top of the knees and rock it side to side. And then we'll just switch, bringing the left knee on top, squeezing the knees in, rocking it side to side. We'll keep the knees the way they are. Place your right foot down. Scoot your hips over to the left. Open up your arms wide like a T or any other variation you like. And then slowly start to bring your knees to the right. And if it's too much, uncross your knees. If it's not enough, hook your left foot behind your right. And then maybe drift your gaze to the left. And start to find a sense of calmness here. Sense of letting go and surrendering. Relaxing your jaw and your face. Opening up your heart and cultivating a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the ability to be able to move our bodies the way we just did. Gratitude for the breath. Gratitude for this moment. Inhale your gaze back up. Bring your knees back up. Uncross your legs. Center your hips. Cross your right over left. Scoot your hips to the right. And then knees to the left. Observing every little bit of your breath here as the breath does get compromised when we twist. Just notice it. You're okay. Try to breathe a little bigger and slower. Inhale, we'll start to bring the gaze and the knees back up, centering and uncrossing, and then we'll separate the feet and bring the knees together. Hands onto the belly. Take a deep breath in. And open up your mouth and say, ah. Start to bring your feet together, knees apart. Deep breath in. Open up and say, ending your practice here, or separate your feet and arms out to the side, letting everything go. I hope you received what you needed to help you transition from this moment into gratitude for the rest of today. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.